This video is sponsored by Squarespace. Squarespace makes it easy to create a beautiful website, connect with your audience, and sell anything, from products to content, but more on them later. Whether you're just getting into watches, or if you've been a serious collector for a while, one of the biggest questions we all have is, what is the best watch I can buy on my budget? In this video, we're breaking down the best watches at different price points, so around $1,000 USD, $3,000, and $5,000. This is quite the breadth of price points, I know, but something I learned real fast when I entered the watch space is so many different people have different income levels and even comfort levels on how much they'll spend on a watch. For some people, it's a hobby and they spend proportionally more, while for others they want just one nice piece that won't break the bank too much. Whatever your price point, the watches selected for this awesome listicle represent some of the best value out there and are serious bits of kit. Okay, around $1,000 is a fun spot. I'd define this as entry-level luxury, so you're getting really good movements, solid build quality. Maybe not as good finishing as you'd get with more expensive brands, but this price category over-delivers on specifications. Starting with the Tissot PRX Powermatic 80. This is one of the strongest releases, or re-releases I should say, from Tissot in a while, and people love it for a reason. This is incredibly well finished on the case, hands, and dial. It feels more expensive than it is. It's got a very versatile look, leaning a bit more on the sporty side with the integrated bracelet, waffle pattern dial, and legible display. The movement is based off the ETA 2824 self-winding movement. It's lower frequency at 3 Hz, and the 80 in the Powermatic 80 refers to the power reserve at, well, 80 hours. Tissot has done a fantastic job with these. They're loved for a reason, and they've started making these in more sizes as well, available in 40mm, 38, and 35. Let's go even more sporty now, possibly my favorite Seiko diver, the Prospex SPB 143. This one's a little over budget. These retail for $1,200 USD, but are a noticeable step up from something like the SKX 007 or SRP 777. Seiko has been the entry point for many of watch goblins, many of people with this disease, and they remain so well loved because of their heritage and reliability. In 1965, Seiko introduced the first ever Japanese diver, so the 62 MAS, and this is the modern continuation of that watch. Great daily wear, stainless steel case material, 200 meters of water resistance, and a 40.5mm case diameter, which will suit most wrist sizes. The accuracy is okay. I don't think it's quite up to snuff at +25, -15 seconds per day. I would kinda hope for a little bit more from a giant group like Seiko, but it's okay. For a more dressy Seiko, I would recommend the Presage all day, every day. I think this is one of their more underrated watches right now. I feel like people used to talk about these a lot, but they've kind of gone off the boil, but they're still awesome. Finally, something properly dressy, the Baltic MR01 or MR Classic in salmon. Bosh, look at this. These retail for $656 USD. I think this is the strongest dress watch in the price category. So a stainless steel case material, 36mm diameter, a very good size for this style, 9.9mm thick, really thin, and that's made possible because of the automatic Hangzhou caliber 5000A micro rotor movement. The salmon is my favorite color, but it is available in a few different variations if you'd prefer a different colorway. Moving on, larger budgets, and I would say these next two sections are my favorite areas to play in. So at $3,000, you're going to see a real noticeable step up in terms of finishing, and those little details, those little thought through things, like better bracelets, better movements. We even start seeing COSC certification around here. We need to start this section with Longines. They are the standout brand at this price segment, offering a lot for the price, a lot of heritage, solid watches, and really good movements. I'd probably recommend the Spirit or Spirit Pilot first, depending on how you feel about the date complication and stars on the dial. I am personally partial to having the date. I find it really useful. Once again, this is their daily wear offering. Really versatile, leaning a bit more sporty, and I think this is their strongest offering for the price. The only asterisk I'd add is that I think this is more of the enthusiast choice. Enthusiasts love this style of watch, whereas my non-watch friends might prefer something more like the Flagship Classic or the Conquest Heritage. Something I particularly like about the Conquest Heritage is strap options. I'd recommend buying this one on bracelet and buying the strap as well on the side. You can then literally do anything in it. 50 meters of water resistance, bracelet for the summer sporty stuff, strap for dressing up. I'm always really conflicted on how I feel about water resistance and what a watch should be tested to. I know a lot of people really prefer 100 meters minimum as the standard. And I get it because sometimes I'm that person too. But I just think a lot of watches and a lot of people in their lifestyles, myself included, we really don't require that. I don't know. I could make an entire video overthinking that, but let me tell you about something I'm not conflicted about, and that is the awesomeness of Squarespace, who just so happened to be today's fabulous video sponsor. Have you ever tried making a website? It's very hard. It kind of requires basic coding skills, a bit of design know-how, and this is the hard stuff that Squarespace takes care of. They offer a complete library of professionally designed website templates with options for whatever you're doing. You just need to select whichever one speaks to you, plug in your information, and bam, gorgeous website. That's how I made mine. Alternatively, you could use their Blueprint AI enhanced website builder. Just add a couple of prompts and let the AI magic do all the heavy lifting. And Squarespace isn't just about creating beautiful websites, they also help your website get found. With their integrated SEO tools, every website is optimized to show up higher on search engines to bring in more customers. I say it every time, I'm gonna say it again. I have been using Squarespace since before they were a channel sponsor. I'll be using them long after, and I've created multiple websites using them. They have templates for whatever you're doing, whether it's selling products, services, brick and mortar, or online, they've got you covered. If this sounds like something you need in your life, head to squarespace.com/BritPierce, use my link, it's in the description down below, to save 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain. Use my code, the BritPierce code, the most fabulous code, frankly. And thank you so much to Squarespace for sponsoring this video. You know, I feel like Oris is a brand that has kind of gone off the boil, and people like me should be talking about them a heck of a lot more than we are. I kind of forgot about them until we were watch shopping recently. I tried on the Aquis again and remembered how magic these are. These are like the Thinking Man Submariner. You are still getting the ceramic bezel, a combination of brushed and polished surfaces. It kind of feels a little bit more fancy because of the polished outer links on the bracelet, just a little bit more polishing. The movement is where a bit of money is saved, so either powered by the Oris 7333, which is based on the Sellita SW200-1, or the higher performance in-house caliber 400, featuring a very long power reserve and 10-year warranty. If you are looking for a diver, I highly recommend trying one of these on. I should have a sign behind me that says Mrs. NOMOS. I feel like all roads usually lead back to NOMOS. I can't think of anyone else who's offering what they offer. They aren't owned by a giant conglomerate, so they can't have in-group movements. They are fiercely independent, producing in-house calibers in Glashütte. They have their own unique design language. I mean, a lot of people don't like it. It's not for everyone. Very Bauhaus, but it's not a gimmick. They have been doing this since the 90s. I don't even know how to narrow it down for recommendations. Where do we start? Let's start with their flagship, the Tangente. Simple, cool, dressy, but casual. I would recommend sizing down. Like the 35 millimeters is more wearable than one would think. It feels more like a 38 millimeters, and the 38 millimeters feels more like a 40. The long lugs, thin bezels really changes how it feels. Every single caliber in their watches is produced in-house, so these have the DUW 4001, more finishing than expected for the price, 53 hours of power reserve, and their calibers are tested to cost spec without physically sending in for the certification, which would increase the cost. If you're after something a little more sporty, a little less Bauhaus, the Club would be my recommendation. First watch of the $5,000 segment, Tudor. I think Tudor really dominates this category and would be my recommended starting place. Their offerings are sporty, robust, great movements. They are objectively pretty hard to beat. So they have all the resources of the Hans Wilsdorf Foundation, just a little less premium and a little less luxury than Rolex. For me, that's actually been a selling point. Like, I have a Tudor Black Bay 58 and 54 that I chose over a Rolex Submariner because they feel just that little more tool. If I had to narrow it down to just one Tudor recommendation, it would be the Black Bay one, so the fixed bezel variation. They have recently been renamed to the Black Bay one. It's go anywhere, do anything, a fairly sporty package, but the 5-link bracelet does make it feel that little bit more elevated. I genuinely cannot find a single complaint. Available in a few different size variations, reasonable thickness at 10.5 millimeters, 100 meters of water resistance, very well finished, and COSC certification with the manufacturer caliber MT5400, 70 hours of power reserve. I don't know what complaint someone could have with this. Maybe the Snowflake hands? Maybe, but I personally like them. Super legible. If you have this much money to play around with, I'd recommend going into a Tudor boutique and trying everything on. Everything is awesome, and then you could get a flavor of what you're looking for. Speaking of Snowflake, the Grand Seiko SBGA 211 Spring Drive, or the Snowflake. Full disclosure, this one is a little bit over budget. These retail for $6,900, but I definitely recommend asking for a cheeky discount. In the UK, I would ask for 20% off at the authorized dealer and shave that price down a little bit more. You might get 15% off depending on how cheeky you are. I always feel so gauche asking if there's a little bit of wiggle room, but honestly, it is a part of the shopping experience. Most brands factor this into their prices, and the authorized dealers, they want to move these, so get it for the best possible price. Cheapness aside, the SBGA 211 is the flagship Grand Seiko and one of my favorite watches. You get everything you want from the brand. Beautiful standout dial, spring drive movement, probably the biggest Grand Seiko distinctive in the Heritage Collection package and styling. I'm a big fan of these, a real if you know choice. When we think about Breitling, the mind often jumps to the Navitimer, which is completely warranted. It is their icon and frankly one of the most handsome watch designs of all time. But I don't think the Chronomat gets its flowers, and I'm going to give it to them right now. This is one of the strongest go anywhere, do anything watch offerings below £5,000 or around $5,000 USD. You get that brand name power, versatile design, about 10 millimeters thick, 100 meters of water resistance, just a rock solid package. It looks a little bit different. It feels a little bit different because it's a Breitling. A very good price. No complaints. The Pilot's Watch Mark 20 was a big step for IWC in bringing their iconic look and design to a smaller size and became the testing ground for adding a bracelet. This is the classic pared back design language of IWC, just made in a more versatile size. I was saying this recently on my podcast, the Movement podcast with Adrian Barker. You should go check it out. Just a shameless plug, shameless self-promotion. But I was saying one of the impressive things about boring watch designs is that there is no place to hide. Everything needs to be quite good. It's like making a recipe that only has 3 ingredients. It's simple, but those 3 ingredients need to be of the highest quality in order for it to be a standout thing. And I think that's exactly what the Mark 20 is. Another Grand Seiko. This is wild. This might be my favorite Grand Seiko. I don't know. The SBGM 221 GMT. This is a very Japanese take on the GMT complication. The dial is beautiful, super legible in this creamy off-white. It's a much more dressy take on a typically sporty complication. Powered by the 9S66, this has an accuracy of -5 + 5 seconds per day and a 72-hour power reserve. It is not the watch to take to the beach, just splash resistant, but not everything needs to be a sporty, robust tool. Retailing for $5,400 USD, you're getting a lot of watch. I'm a big fan. I should actually ask Grand Seiko if they'd ever send me one to review. I mean, of course, the Omega Seamaster Diver 300, it might be the best offering at the price point, bar none. I've said it before, but this is Omega's entry point into the brand, and they have gone to great lengths to protect this price and keep it as low as it is. I've personally been watching this price since 2023, and it has not changed. I don't think any other watch in the Omega catalog can say that, or frankly, many watches across any brand. As time goes on, the value of money changes, and it becomes a better deal every year. This has one of the most robust case constructions, a truly unique design language, almost feeling fluid with the scalloped bezel, lyre lugs. I own 2 older models, both mid-size, but the modern 42mm will suit most men or people with larger wrists. This is one of the most celebrated watches, and for good reason, and it's becoming almost a bargain from Omega. So there you have it, the best watches, in my humble opinion, at $1,000, $3,000, and $5,000. But, you know, there are so many watches out there. If I missed your favorite, if I missed such an obvious one, let me know in the comments down below. If you're new to watches and maybe looking for the right piece, I highly recommend looking in the comments below as well. I bet you they have better recommendations than myself. Thank you so much for your viewership. Thank you to Squarespace for sponsoring this video, and thank you to the Pope tier patrons. Aw yeah, get their names on the screen. Lovely, fabulous, wonderful Pope tier patrons. Oh my goodness. Thank you so much for sponsoring my weird little channel. Thank you to all tiers of patrons. But this part, it's for these names. Come on now. I hope you keep enjoying the work we do here. I love making videos. I think I have the best job on earth, and it's made possible because of you. Thank you so much. And you know, if you decide it's not financially viable for you to keep sponsoring the channel, I totally get it. Thank you for sponsoring at all. Thank you for just enjoying the content. I can't tell you how much it means to me. We'll see you in the next one.